Welcome to iPad Pros, the show all about using your iPad to be productive and get work done. I'm Tim Chen, host of the show.
The Lumen tracker, I use it for daily sales report and weekly sales trending for me because there's a built-in graph in these apps. So it's easy for me to enter all the data of my daily sales so that I can compare my weekly sales, whether I'm doing well this week or last week, monthly sales trackers as well. So I can see the history of my sales from a month to month, year to year.
Welcome back to our episode of iPad Pros. I'm really thrilled to share this episode. It was a really fascinating discussion where I learned quite a bit. Today's guest is Jong Fui Fa. He owns a used clothing store in Kuching, Malaysia. He has been using the iPad Pro to run his business since 2017, and he shares some super interesting apps that I've never really heard of, and I think you will get a ton of awesome tidbits in this episode from a different part of the iPad Pro user base that I wish I had on more often. As a reminder, if you'd like to support the podcast, you can do so over patreon.com/iPadPros or by subscribing in Apple Podcasts. My thanks to everyone that does support the podcast there, and it really does mean a lot. Another way to support this podcast is by reviewing it in Apple Podcasts. If you haven't spent a minute to do that, I'd really appreciate you just opening up the podcast app on your iPhone or iPad and leaving a review right now. Well, with that, here's my interview with Jong. Enjoy. Welcome to the podcast. Can you first introduce yourself and kind of broadly, how you use the iPad?
Hey Tim, ni hao. Oni abar mu Tim. Nama berita wai lu ho bo ni ho mo. Chit Pao Mang. I am from Sarawak, and I want to take this opportunity to say Happy Sarawak Day. I hope this podcast will out by then. On July 22nd is our Independence Day here.
Oh, excellent! Yeah, it will be. This will be coming out just a couple of days here on Thursday.
So,
yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, my name is Jong Fui Fa. I'm an iPad Pro user since 2017. Basically, I use the Magic Keyboard. It's a 12.9-inch iPad Pro, the M1 iPad Pro.
Okay. Yep.
And then with the Epson printer, that's all.
Excellent. Yeah. Do you have the Apple Pencil as well?
Yeah, I have my Apple Pencil. I share with my daughter. My daughter uses them quite frequently for drawing, doodles, and things like that.
Excellent. Yeah. And your iPad, that's kind of your primary computer for both like personal stuff and business?
Yeah, I use it mostly for business. I think for personal, I just use it for Twitter.
Yeah.
That is my main personal consumption for just the Twitter. But the rest of the things is mostly for business.
Excellent. Yeah. And what is your business? Like, what do you do? How does the iPad kind of fit into your work?
Yeah, I run a retail shop for used clothing in Kuching, Sarawak. So Sarawak is in East Malaysia of the island of Borneo. So we import a lot of these imported clothes from US, from Japan, from Korea. So basically, my day-to-day job from the POS system to getting ready, the tags, everything using an iPad. Well, the iPad is interesting tool for me because first of all, it is small. It is light. It's not small. I want a big one. Long battery life, and then it helps me to do what I need to do because whatever I do on the Mac, I used to use a Mac, can be done on the iPad. So I think it's for me. I'm like a switcher. I mean, it's kind of familiar and it's simple in a way. So I don't have to bring too many things with me, and then it is heavy for a laptop. But for iPad, it is just much more simpler for my business use.
And does the kind of integrated camera help with cataloging stuff? That's something on a Mac would be much harder to do. taking photos, being able to do that on the iPad, it seems to be something that might be beneficial.
Yeah, I use the iPhone cameras a lot. I used to use I started to use I used to have the big Canon camera to take all the photos for all the product shot. But ever since the iPhone 10 was released, I used that phone a lot, and it captured quite an accurate color, except for the gray color, when during the dark. But photos are fixed during the after the release of iPhone 11 Pro Max. So I've been using that phone until today. I haven't changed or haven't switched to the newer phone probably this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it's a good workflow for me. You capture the photo using an iPhone, and then everything was uploaded to the iCloud, and then I just go to my iPad, and then I just take the whole thing. Or sometimes if the iCloud doesn't work, so I just do the
AirDrop,
airdrop them to my iPad. So that's how I work with the photos side of things.
Nice, yeah. And then is the iPad on a cellular data network, or is it just on Wi-Fi? Like, what's cell access look like over there?
Yeah. I use the cellular version. I love the cellular version. It's really 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 convenient for me, because sometimes after you like, for example, I record things on my iPad. I use some of the important apps for my works. For example, like the daily tracker, journals, and diary for the Lumen Spark. So some of these details I need it to be uploaded to iCloud as soon as possible. So I use the cellular version so that I don't miss anything. So I don't have to go to a Wi-Fi, in order for it to save. So I have 24 hours, internet for the data with the cellular. That's why I have.
From what you've seen of the Stage Manager presentation and what's coming later this year, is that something you think that'll be beneficial for the kind of work you do on the iPad, or is the more single or split screen app usage kind of more appropriate for what you're doing?
I personally, multitasking on the iPad Pro right now. It's fine for me, but I have not installed the beta version of the what do you call the iOS 16, right?
Yeah,
and I have not.
That's probably smart. So if it's your business machine.
Yeah, I am not so sure how it would fit into my workflow, but I think it's kind of cool. I like it. Actually, I'm excited for it, but I just haven't got a feel how these stage managers will work. So I'll see.
Yeah.
When it released, then I'll try. But I think it will help me. I like to do more on the iPad with the bigger screen. But of course, I have seen the promise of having a second screen where the iPad can be it's a wide screen on a second screen. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, because if that works, so it will be much better. I can get a 29-inch monitor, and then I can start work on that second screen instead.
Yeah, no, the external monitor stuff really is transformative. It basically, your iPad transforms into kind of a portable Mac in a way, with the abilities there to expand outwards and use all this kind of stuff, and then you can just unplug it and it becomes an iPad again. Yeah.
Cool. I'm looking forward for that features. As for the Stage Manager, I think it will be an added benefit.
Yeah. No, it's going to be, I think a big thing for a lot of users. You mentioned Lumen's daily tracker. This is an app I had not heard of, and some people use it to track kind of what they eat every day, but I gather that's not how you're using it. What's this app used for you?
Oh no, the Lumen tracker, I use it for daily sales report and weekly sales trending for me, because there's a built-in graph in these apps, so it's easy for me to enter all the data of my daily sales. so that I can compare my weekly sales, whether I'm doing well this week or last week. And then I have it also is my monthly sales trackers as well. So I can see the history of my sales from a month to month, year to year. Uh, of course, I can go to the POS system to check, but it will be, you need a constant connection to the internet for that to happen. But what daily trackers helps you is that it's always stay in your phone. So whenever I need the information, I just go back there, and right there, the information is there. So that helped me a lot if I want to plan something. And also, Lumen trackers help me to keep track of the history of the items, because I'm doing the business of this used clothing. Sometimes there are conditions of this item that we bought. It's not up to the standard. So I need to remember what items that I bought, and then I can go back and see whether I should be dealing with this supplier again in the future anymore, because some of the item is not as good as before. So I need the history, the tracking of the history of the item that I'm selling. I think if anyone are in this used clothes business, you know that sometimes the item that we bought is not going to be always in a tip-top condition. Sometimes the item is okay, sometimes it is not okay. So we waste a lot of material sometimes. So I need to know whether if the supplier give me a good item or not. So I will use this as my way of tracking these suppliers and their items that I receive.
Yeah, one challenge I'd imagine in used clothes is each product is very unique. Like it seems like it'd be with new clothes you could buy from X company the same exact shirt, 100 copies of that. But in your business, it seems like you'd have a lot of unique SKUs to deal with. Is that like with tracking?
Yeah.
You're tracking genres of men's jerseys, are you tracking more genres of these are all pretty similar items to each other and tracking the trends of those sales, or how do you manage the uniqueness of every clothing item being so different, perhaps?
Yeah, different suppliers supply the same item. Let's say, for example, if I'm buying ladies' blouse, for example. So blouse from suppliers are in a different category. So they have they sell based on grade. So they are grade A, B, or C. So these are the areas where I need to track whether they are providing the grade A item up to the standard or not, and B and C, and so on and so forth. Yeah, when you're dealing with this type of business, you are dealing with 100,000 of pieces of item where I have to sort each and every of these item based on the category on a daily basis. So this tracker helped me to understand which supplier and which item that I should buy from them on not at all for the next shipment. Yeah.
And how do you the data itself? You have a point of sale system, and then you have the Lumen system. Do they talk at all, or is it kind of manual input of the data in each system?
Yeah, I enter them manually.
Okay.
I don't. I just use it concurrently to both, because the POS system have much more details data. For the daily trackers, I just want the just the overall of the business. Yeah.
And I must say, the way you're using that app is really smart, because it's an app designed to motivate you to exercise every day of the week, and you're tracking your growth and I'm exercising, and turning it on its head and using it to graph out business sales is just super smart. It seems like a really creative use of this app in a really cool way that I haven't heard of. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm really glad for these apps. I started using it, I think, since 2014. I needed something for me to track. I can actually use Excel or numbers But to open this kind of apps on a smartphone, I mean iPhone, it's not very intuitive. So then I found these apps on the App Store. So immediately I download it, and then work around with it, and then I thought, I can use these simple apps for my daily tracker, or my sales tracking. Yeah.
So something on your list that caught my eye was QR Tiger to generate QR codes. So first off, QR codes, how widely are they used over there, and kind of what do you personally use them for in your business?
Yeah, the QR code has become a big part in Malaysia. I think since the push of e-wallets a few years ago. I think around 2018 or 19, and then the Sarawak government has also pushing their own e-wallet. So all these QR code based. So it's a big thing here right now, and especially during the COVID-19 lockdown, the government actually pushed us to use the app tracker to track the COVID movement. So I think right now most of the people will know QR code, and then they use it for e-wallet. It's become a norm here. So it's a big thing. But for me, I personally use the QR code for mainly to scan price tag. I find it easier for my employees to just scan the QR code into the POS system rather than manual key in or using the barcode. The barcode thing is like, it's very long, and to me it's very ugly. But for
more error
code,
prone.
It's small, and then it is cute. So it's easy for me to design my own price tag, and then with the QR code, so it's look nicer and it's beautiful that way.
And what do you use to print the QR codes? Is there a special kind of printer that works well with the iPad, or what's that process like?
Yeah, I just basically I designed those price tag on GoDaddy Studios. All those graphics, and then the QR code, I just paste it on pages, and then I print out the all the price tag from there.
Okay, nice. Yeah. And is there a web aspect to your business? Like, is there a website? Do people would check that for new inventory that live in the area, or is it mainly in person, kind of walker buyer kind of people?
Yeah, for most of the items, I will update them on my Facebook, and then that one is mainly for my regular customer, or I also upload them to Google. I think Google Business or something. It's Google Business. On all the new item that we receive, and then on sales, we will put them on Facebook, Instagram, and then as well the Google Business.
Nice. Yeah. In the apps that you sent over to me, there was a really wide variety of photo apps that you use to kind of do your job, and that's really cool. And so there's PhotoRoom, there's TouchRetouch, Pixelmator Photo. Can you kind of walk through how you use these different things? And then also, I guess, one of the features coming in iPad OS 16 is the ability to just remove the background and just copy the subject. How do you see that changing kind of how you get your work done regarding photography?
Yeah. I remove background a lot for in every item of the photo that I'm taking. I remove tons of them. So the PhotoRoom helped me to do that automatically. It's not perfect all the time, but it is getting there. So for the iOS 16 features, I am not so sure whether if after the remove the background, so if it is not perfect, whether you can go back and then read it. I hope it can. Yeah. So if you can do that, then probably I'll be trying out the iOS 16 features in the future.
Yeah, for now, it's pretty powerful because you can also integrate that removal into shortcuts. So you could build an automation that includes the removal, and you could probably have some kind of templating system where it does a lot of stuff for your photos to get it kind of ready for you to do the manual work at a certain point.
Yeah. So yeah, the PhotoRoom does that a lot for me. So basically, the main thing with the PhotoRoom that I enjoy use is the template. So I took a photo and then I just use the template and then I just save the photo and then immediately we can just post it online. So that is the main features that I'm using. Other than that, it's actually quite expensive for the subscription. So
okay.
Well, yeah. So because if iOS 16 given the powerful features, then yeah, is an opportunity to save a little bit of cost.
Yeah. And what about TouchRetouch? How is that app used?
TouchRetouch is an app that I use because I don't like to see lines that whenever you took a photo of the say the shop. So you have a tile, on the floor, and this tile will have this line. So I really don't like those lines. So it makes the whole photos rig looks really messy. So I use TouchRetouch to remove this line, and TouchRetouch does a very good job at removing this line, and any of these uninteresting things on the photo, you can just use that to remove it. Yeah, that is my main thing that I use on the TouchRetouch.
Yeah, that sounds really really handy. Yeah.
I just want to get rid of the lines. That's all. You can have a lot of I think you can use other apps to do the job, but it's just that TouchRetouch that very very well. I mean, it's just little effort. You just with a little effort, and then the line is gone, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, I love apps that are like it does this one thing really great, and yeah. Pixelmator Photo is also on your list here, and I love the machine learning aspects of what it does. With it's mind-boggling how you can give it this low-resolution, crappy image and make it usable with that increased resolution feature. What kind of features do you use within Pixelmator?
Oh, I love Pixelmator photos. Sometimes when I took a lot of photos in a different lighting conditions, this photo normally have ununiform color temperature. So a quick workaround for me would be using the Pixelmator photos. Just cut and paste the color temperatures to all the selected photos. Bam. Yeah.
So it's a uniform. It's like the same look across all your products that way.
That's right. So you do this by go to the matching colors. I think on the setting, and then everything is magic. So that features is really a lifesaver because you can't be like editing one photo at a time. So and then I think on Mac you can do that with a lot of apps, but on the iPad I think Pixelmator is the only apps can do that.
Yeah, that's that will be changing this fall. One of the iOS 16 features is in the standard Photos app, you'll be able to make edits and copy edits across a bunch of photos all at once in the Photos app. It's going to be super cool for doing stuff like that where you're trying to match the same look everywhere. So that'll be...
Yeah, I wonder where they got the idea from.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Video. Is that something you do much with? I know LumaFusion is a powerful app, and you haven't mentioned in the list of apps that you use. What do you do with video?
I shows the videos of my shop and the new item most of the time. Mm-hmm. So I will just use LumaFusion to for this kind of advertisement. So I subscribe to story blogs. It's expensive, but it's kind of get my video running. So I don't like to look around for copy. I mean music collection, because some of this is hard to find something that is not copyrighted. Material.
Yeah, and then YouTube will yank out down your video.
Yeah, I don't like my video to be removed from my Facebook account, because you take time to do it, and now all of a sudden it got removed. So I just used LumaFusion and the story blocks. I was hoping that I will get something that permanently can be displayed or store on Facebook. Without hitting all this. Without getting all these.
The copyright strikes.
Yeah, the copyright strike.
Yeah. No. Yeah, and the story blocks. It's a great feature they have in there. It is a little pricey, but from what I've heard, like it's cheaper than going directly to story blocks. I guess they have their own like direct service, and LumaFusion has a little special deal, so it's a little cheaper, but still it is it is what it is. Yeah.
Yes, it is what it is, right?
Another thing involving the camera is Scanner Pro. You mentioned to me this is something that's pretty essential to your business. How are you using this?
I use it to scan all my receipt because I think it is important for me to keep all the receipts for tax purposes.
Yeah.
So on a weekly basis, I will just scan all this receipt with the other apps, and then just keep it, in the what you call the receipt on iCloud for my yearly tax purposes. So I think this is very good apps. It's very important to my workflow too, because without it, I feel lost, because I think iOS have scan. I mean the file scanning on as well, but it doesn't work that well. I mean the Scanner Pro is
so much better.
Yeah, so much better. You can edit them if you don't like it, and then I think the file size is much more smaller too, compared to the iOS. The built-in iOS files.
And you're doing this for receipts from your customers, or also receipts from your purchase orders of inventory coming in?
Yeah, not from customer. It's for my purchase order.
Right, because you have the receipts in your point of sale system, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. And tell me about the point of sale system. Is it all done on iPad, or how's the point of sale system work?
Yeah, I use two type of POS system. One is Apply, and the other one is PHP POS. PHP POS is a self-host system, while the Apply I actually pay for the subscriptions for it, but because I grandfathered in the applies from earlier on, so I'm still getting the best price. So I'm looking forward to continue using it until one day if they ask me to pay more, then I'll lose it. But PHP POS, actually, if anyone want to use a good POS, I recommend PHP POS, because this PHP POS is affordable. And then you have full control of it. You can actually run them with VPS, or you can run them even on the Windows PC. And put them on your shop.
Yeah.
So basically, you are in full control. Unlike any subscription service, you're not in control. In case if the server down, then there goes your POS system.
And the one you're using, if the network goes down, it still operates, or?
No, we have to do manual. Like apply. I think apply.
Yeah.
They have some. There are a few out stages. A few months ago, and I have to ask my employee to do manual tracking. And then when it goes online, then we have to key in them manually again.
And when it goes offline, are you for accepting payments? What's it like over there? Like, credit cards aren't as big of a thing as they are in the States, or what do you accept? What is it, cash? Like what kind of payments do you take most of the time?
Here people will use cash more often, we are seeing the increase of the use of the e-wallet. Not much of credit card nowadays. I think e-wallet offers much more benefit to the customer. For example, like cashback, and then point system. So it pushes the customer to use the e-wallet more often these days. So credit card is kind of like slowing down. I think not people, yeah. So if you're running a business without a credit card system, I think it's not an issue here.
Yeah, and the e-wallets, is that a QR code based system or like an NFC?
It's a QR code system.
QR code, okay.
You just scan them, yeah.
So you just scan it the same way you'd scan the product with a little scanner.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. The point of sale computer, you have like some Windows computers set up in the shop, or how's that done?
The point of sale, we use the iPad.
Okay.
Yeah. We use the iPad and connected to the internet. That's it. So
nice. Okay.
There's apps for the POS system, and then the staff will just to access the apps and then just do their normal transaction that way.
Nice. What kind of iPads do you have set up in the shop for doing that?
Right now, I'm using the iPad Air. I think the first version. I think.
Yeah.
So it's really old and you can't update anymore, but it still works.
No, it's a solid.
Yeah, it's still you still can use it. So we continue using it until it due for replacement.
Yeah, Ginger Writer is next up on the list. This seems to be similar to like Grammarly or other apps that help you with good English. Is that to help web presence and stuff with making sure you're communicating clearly? Or
I think you have already noticed that my English is number one. A+.
Your English is better than me trying to speak your language.
My English is bad, so I need Ginger's a writer. To actually I use it. The one of the features in the Ginger Writer is I think it called refresh, refresh, right? So that's the features that I use a lot because any sentence that I type in, and then it will give you few example of the few example of saying the same thing. So I learned from there. So it's kind of cool features for me to do business and then at the same time learning at the same time.
Right.
So basically, anything that I can learn from the apps, I just use it lah.
Yeah, and is that a one-time purchase app or is that a subscription for that one?
Yeah, it's just a subscription on a yearly basis, but it's not that expensive though.
Yeah,
compared to Grammarly, I actually
Grammarly is
I think
expensive.
Grammarly was So I comparing to both of this service, and then I end up just subscribe to Ginger Writer because the price is much more cheaper.
And for that one, do you open the app or is there like a virtual keyboard that it installs as well, or how does that work?
Oh, no, I open the apps.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And then email. How big of a deal is email for what you do?
I don't have a lot of emails, but when I do check my email, it's usually I use Spark. I think Spark by Riadel.
Yep.
Yeah, I like Spark because it has this function where it's called smart inbox. So basically, it will separate all the incoming mails to social, to notification, to newsletter. So it's easy for me to delete some of these email based on this smart inbox.
No, it's a great feature. Yeah, I mean, we get so much just junk mail that makes it through. And
correct. And also this, I have like few emails of my own. I think I have 4 or 5, and so to log into these apps, you just need one password. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, that's another thing. Yeah, you just use your one Google account and it kind of logs you into your other accounts, which is it's an underrated feature because it's such a pain in the butt to try to do that.
Can you imagine if you set up one by one of the email? That is fantastic. But I recently, I mean, I think last year, Apple started with the email. What do you call that?
The hide by email.
Yeah, I actually set up few of my email there. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's nice because you're able to get rid of someone if they start using your email address, which is nice.
Yeah, do you use it yourself?
I do. Yeah. Quite a bit, probably more than I should. It's like I order, takeout food or whatever. You're getting a fake email address,
Yeah.
with Safari, they introduced tab groups not too long ago. Is that something you find yourself using to separate out kind of your work browsing from personal browsing, or how do you use Safari?
I have no idea about these features, not until you mention it. I checked it out last night, and I find that it's okay, but I don't think I really need it because, like I say, I use this iPad mainly for my business. So therefore, every time when I open up the Safari, everything that I need is there. So I basically don't use it for any personal things. So yeah, it's 100% business.
Mm-hmm.
So I open it, everything is there. So I don't find myself using this
Okay.
this I mean this these features though.
Yeah. Something that I really do like about iPadOS 16 on the beta is the more space feature, where on the 12.9-inch iPad Pro, it gives you more screen space. So a lot of websites they'll be working even better this fall when you basically get a more resolution to work with, and that'll be nice.
Yeah.
WhatsApp. This is a tool that I understand is used very heavily over there. What's this? How do you use this in your business, and how does it work on iPad?
People here don't actually use iMessage.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was on Twitter all the time, and I see that people from the US complaining about iMessage thingy.
Yeah, because over here, that's what everyone uses pretty much. Yeah.
But for us here, it's like we were like, man, who's using iMessage all the time?
Right.
We use WhatsApp. WhatsApp is everywhere. I mean, like from my family, from business, everyone is using WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will not be able to contact any one of our family using an iMessage,
right,
except maybe my family.
Yeah.
But my other family members, my immediate family's member, they are not using iMessage. Most of them are on Android and other type of phone. So the easiest way for us to reach out to each other is via WhatsApp, or the other apps called WeChat. So these two apps. So for my WhatsApp, I connected it to I connect them to Facebook. You have this feature, so you use it what they call it WhatsApp Business.
Yeah.
So it's very useful for us. So whenever the customers message through the this Facebook, and then we can actually reply them on WhatsApp Business. So that is cool pitch. Cool. It's easier for us to do our works then. To communicate with our customer.
Do people ever send money through WhatsApp or WeChat?
No.
It's purely communication.
No, we don't. Yeah, purely communication. Okay. And if there is any money transaction, we will just use bank transfer.
Okay, yeah. And then YouTube and podcasts. These you flagged as educational tools. What kind of? How do you find yourself using? How do you find yourself learning, I guess, and learn in this kind of YouTube podcast world?
Yeah, for YouTube, I normally I'll go on online, and then let's say if I want to learn a bit more about vintage item, vintage clothing. If I want to search for how to say, for example, to keep the clothes last longer. Mm-hmm. Some of the vintage. So I'll go to YouTube and I'll look for people who actually know how to take care of the to take care of. I mean, I'll just go to YouTube and then look for the topic, and then I'll see what I can learn from some of the people from the other side of the world, how they do business. How they sell their vintage item, or what they do, and how much is the value of this vintage item. As for podcasts, I mainly listen to tech podcasts, and then of course some in English language, like Grammar Girl. I like her podcast. So we learn a bit of English from there. That's how I use this service as my learning gateway.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's really cool. And anything else about iPad that we haven't touched on they'd like to before we start to wrap it up?
Yeah. Maybe some tips. I like to install some fonts on the iPad. So I use this app called iFont, iFont. Yeah, I think this app is incredible. You can search hundreds and hundreds of these what you call the fonts from these apps.
Yeah.
And then also, if you want to buy a very good font, for me, when I design the text, the price tag for my shop, so I use heritagetype.com. Some of the font there is really fantastic. So I use that, and then for my business use. So iPhone.
Yeah, I've used I think it's called AnyFont, and it's really cool how those apps they like install like a little profile in the settings app, and it's just magically in all your apps, and you can use these fancy fonts on your iPad. It's great. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but anyway, if anyone's going to heritagetype.com, if you use a Mac, you can as well go to I think they call it Kittle. I think Kittle.com, KITTL.com, and you will have this free graphic design tools that you can use with a beautiful template and beautiful font. That is a very cool website. It's still in beta though, so it's not supported on iPad. Too bad.
Yeah,
it's not 100% supported, but it is a good website for design.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've struggled in the past with trying to download those Avery templates and like fit it perfectly in, and it's great when a website or some kind of app can kind of solve that problem, which is nice. Yeah. Well, are there any websites or social medias accounts you'd like to promote before we wrap it up?
If anyone want to add me on Twitter, you can go to add Netster23, NETSTER23. So add me there.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time. This has been just fascinating learning about how you kind of operate your business through iPad, and it's really, really fun topic, I think.
Thank you, Tim. It's nice talking to you too, and thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, that's my interview with John. My thanks to John for his time recording this interview, and my thanks to you for your time and attention tuning in. As a reminder, you can support the podcast over at patreon.com/iPadPros or by subscribing in Apple Podcasts. That'll do it for today. I'll talk to everyone again real soon.